potential and continue to be those lifelong learners that we always encourage them to be. We wanted to create classes that would inspire them to be creative and adaptable. We wanted to give them activities that were not only engaging, but also memorable. After all, it's still summer. Well, Summer School 2.0, as we started calling it, gave us all of this. We were committed to the idea that education is about wonder and fostering curiosity, along with the development of those social skills that every kid needs to develop. Every morning, we welcomed over 1,200 students into our hallways. And it was really a pleasure to watch our kids reunite with old friends and create new friendships in the hallways at HVT. Every student followed a daily schedule that was really tailored to meet their needs and their own interests. Some of our kids took those skills classes that we hoped would either fill the gaps or keep that summer slide from happening. Others enrolled in those summer school classics, like our science research and our art projects. But this year, we really tried to expand our programming. We really developed new classes, many of which revolved around our district initiatives, like our diversity task force and our STEAM curriculums. We had students who were able to develop their own passions in classes like Get Your Genius On. We had students who were developing their coding skills, their problem-solving skills, their engineering skills in Code Me a Tune and Camp Invention. Even our youngest readers were able to see books through different lenses through our story theater classes and our Read and Relax. No matter what classes were on our students' schedules, one thing was clear as can be. We realized that kids learn when we let them be kids and we let them have fun. So that was our #1 goal. So one of the highlights of our summer is our summer theater production. And this year, under the direction of Ms. Bloomfield and Dr. De Silva, our students showed off their talents in the theatrical production of Hats. And the message was something that's near and dear to my heart. We have to value all of the individuality that our kids bring. So that's the message you'll see tonight. Tonight, they'd love to share 2 of their favorite songs with you. The first one will be The Perfect Hat for Me. The second one will be Sam Is Who I Am. So we hope you enjoy. They're yours.
By now you must have guessed what our show is all about. We might as well just tell you so there isn't any doubt.
It's about hats!
My hat should tell you who I am, and who I am is Uncle Sam.
There are many kinds of hats, of every shape and size, and underneath each one of them is a very special prize.
Us!
I'm a milliner who doesn't have a hat. What's the matter with you?
I'm a milliner that doesn't have a hat. What is she to do?
Don't worry about me. My hat's being made, it will be the best. I'm going to have a hat that is better than all the rest. There are so many hats, it's hard to choose. It has to fit my head and ought to match my favorite shoes. I know my head is fair, but this I guarantee. I'm gonna take my time and find the perfect
Think-em-up Bob with a perfect hat for me. A helmet, a derby, a cowboy hat is cool. A square one with a tassel when you graduate from school. A boater, a beanie, a stocking cap beret. Or maybe we should have a different hat for every day. The perfect hat for me, whatever will it be? I'll always cover mine, think-em-up Bob with the perfect hat for me. The perfect hat for me, I'll find it, wait and see. I'll always cover my think-em-up Bob with the perfect hat for me. I'll find the perfect hat for me.
My hat should tell you who I am, and who I am is Uncle Sam.
We know!
Okay, so now that that is clear, for the USA, let's give a cheer. My hat is all red, white, and blue. America, I'm saying I need you.
When my country calls,
Samuel Moon, 9th grade, Syosset High School.
Zachary Bayat, 9th grade, Syosset High School.
Rihanna Goy, 9th grade, Syosset High School.
Kaylee Sue, 9th grade, Syosset High School.
Evelyn Nye, 8th grade, HBT.
Alana Dingra, 8th grade, HBT.
Mackenzie Knox, 6th grade, Southwoods.
Kyla Trin, 8th grade, HBT.
Trinity Wu, 10th grade, Syosset High School.
Eden Roninger, 6th grade, Southwoods.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to start the second part of our meeting. But before we do, I'd really like to thank Ms. Spiegel and Ms. Bloomfield and Mr. Silver and the cast. That was a beautiful presentation. And from the entire board, hats off to you guys. Great job in summer school. Okay. So we're going to start off with a motion to approve the minutes from the July 6th and the July 14th meeting. Can I have a motion, please? Susan, seconded by Anna. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Dr. Rufo, would you like to give your treasurer's report and appropriation adjustments, please?
Yes, thank you. Treasurer's report. As shown on the treasurer's report, the cash on hand for the month end June 30th, 2022 showed $80,796,813.02. It also shows the bank balances for cash accounts were reconciled to our book balances and were properly collateralized in accordance with the district's banking agreements and investment policies.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Rufo. Thank you, Dr. Rufo. Dr. Rogers, would you like to give your superintendent's report, please?
Just need to move second and pass the
Okay, I'm sorry. Can I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report, please? Shawnee? Brian? Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. Now, Dr. Rogers, would you like to give your superintendent's report, please?
I'd be happy to, thank you. And I would also share in our appreciation for the performance of HATS and for all the work that was done with Summer School 2.0 this year. I had the opportunity on many days to greet children as they were arriving in summer school. It's a great way to remember that school never stops even though it's summer here. And our 1,200 student summer school is the size of many school districts during the regular school year. So there is a full staff on hand to keep that moving along. And we gave the summer school team a challenge this year. We asked them, especially coming out of the pandemic and knowing that our students have some ground to gain, but also want to reconnect with their peers. We asked them to reimagine summer school, to keep all of the great things that we've been so proud of in our summer school and add to it new things that kids would find fun and exciting and interesting and maybe educational when they weren't looking. And I think they accomplished that and exceeded my expectations for what we could do with summer school. And I think the fact that we had the largest enrollment ever speaks to that success. And I know I enjoyed visiting classrooms and seeing the young people there just so engaged in what they were doing, having so much fun, giggling, and being kids. So that really was a big success, and I appreciate the board making this opportunity available to our kids and our community. I think it's what lets us keep learning all year long, and certainly that's one of the big ingredients in our success as a school district. I do want to talk a little bit about some of the facilities work that goes on over the summer. As the board knows, that this is our one time of year to really get into the buildings when they're not full of kids and staff. And we had probably 20 major projects ongoing this summer. I won't spend a lot of time on all of them, but I'll just bring to your attention a couple of highlights. The high school main gymnasium had the floor resurfaced and restriped. And we were able to pick up through some clever work of the athletics department 2 additional courts for when our badminton teams are competing interscholastically. So that's an increase of 50% through some clever rearrangement of the gym. We've upgraded the quality of the facilities. Instead of stands that are on top of the floor, we now have poles that sink into the floor and give a much more professional experience. And we've been able to create a striping pattern in the gym that allows us to use the gym for multiple different sports without the stripes all competing with one another. So a real compliment to the athletics department for the work that they've done there. I was in the gym today and the floor looks absolutely beautiful. We're still finalizing some of what we called our phase 1 projects. We have been removing 2 or 3 fuel tanks from underground fuel storage tanks from buildings every year. We've removed the last 3 that are scheduled to be removed. There's just 1 remaining in the district, but it's fairly young and it's still within warranty, so it's fine to leave in place until the future. But we're wrapping up the removal of these underground fuel storage tanks, which is a big bonus. As the board knows, a couple of years ago, the community approved, the board approved an energy performance contract. This is a mechanism for doing work that makes the district more efficient. And the financing mechanism allows the savings to pay for the cost of doing the work. So we've been at that for about 1.5 years now. This summer's work included a boiler replacement in 3 schools, Village, Willits, and the South Grove Annex, and a cogeneration plant where we use gas to generate electricity and also use the byproduct waste heat as a heat source. We're installing, literally today, solar on the main gymnasium roof and the auxiliary gymnasium roof. And that comes on the heels of having finished redoing the roofs. So those are brand new roofs and makes sense to put solar on them once they're brand new so that we won't have to rip the solar off to redo a roof in the future. We've also, as you've noticed driving into the meeting, done a lot of work on Pell Lane. That is becoming a more and more heavily trafficked path from the middle school across the fields to the student parking lot, the tennis courts, and Stillwell. And the quality of the path was really not safe enough for the amount of traffic that it was receiving. So we've really rethought that and put a nice walkway in there that I think will get a tremendous amount of use, not just from students, but from community members who go back and forth on there as well. And then lastly, 2 projects that we have been working closely with the State Education Department on. As the board has heard me say on many occasions, it is a challenge doing work because the approval process through the state it takes a lot of time, not because the state is not doing their job, but because they are so backed up with the work that is going on in all school districts. And we were able to finally secure approval for resurfacing of the high school parking lot, which the back lot is in terrible shape, and this will put it into much better shape. That work has begun. And we finally got a building permit to build the lights for the turf field. So the contractor will be on site next week doing some installation of the bases, and back again in the first week of September installing the poles. And we hope to have the project functional by early October, and that will hopefully be in time for when the nights start to get dark a little bit early, and hopefully the lights will be able to ensure that we can stay on the field long enough to finalize complete games for, say, the soccer season, and maybe even relocate some other games later in October. So more to come with that. The good news is that we were able to use there are 2 processes for how you can, in public schools, go through and procure something like turf field lights. We found a way to do it more quickly by using a bid that had been let by someone else and piggybacking on it. But that also came with its own challenges. So we're working through those challenges, and I'm optimistic, but I don't want to overpromise. So just a couple of other points that I wanted to raise with the board. First is, you may have seen that last Thursday the Centers for Disease Control released some new information about COVID protocols. What typically has happened over the course of the last 2.5 years is after the CDC releases their protocols, the state will refine those protocols and share them with school districts, and the refined protocols that the state shares with us become the guidelines that we have to follow for the coming school year. I would, however, note that the CDC did not make any major changes to the protocols that were in place at the end of last year, and that Governor Hochul earlier this month said that she did not anticipate that masks would be necessary come fall. So we won't know until we see the guidance from the state what exactly they're contemplating, but right now I don't have any indications that we should see dramatic changes. So that means that our posture is going to be as it has been for the last 18 months or so, which is to try and recover and move ourselves back to normal, pre-pandemic normal, as much as possible, and to continue to make steady gains in getting back to the programs that we love and the opportunities to be at and in schools that we also love. And I'm looking forward to that. And then lastly, I know that Mr. Rotolo, several members of the board attended the NASA IDA, the Industrial Development Agency board meeting last week. We have been watching and following news articles about the Amazon project that's here in Syosset, and the possibility that they may not have made their job creation commitments. And our concern was that the funding mechanism is such that depending on if and how the IDA terminated the agreement, there was a potential financial impact to the school district, which obviously we didn't want to encounter. So we did communicate with the IDA, and then we appeared at the IDA board meeting, and I know Mr. Rotolo will probably amplify that from his visit to the meeting last week. So with that, that concludes my report for the month of August.
Thank you, Dr. Rogers. Thank you, Dr. Rogers. Does anybody have questions for Dr. Rogers? Susan, please.
Hi, just a follow-up with the getting things back to normal. I don't know if you guys have finalized the plans yet or not, but do we have any idea what lunch will look like in the elementary schools? I know that had been a big topic of conversation. I'm not sure if it's decided yet.
Well, there are two big variables with lunch right now. The first is we're working with our food service contractor, and one of the challenges that remains, and this is not about protocols, this is just the labor environment. There are challenges with labor around school bus drivers, as we experienced last year, and also challenges finding labor for our food services vendor. So part of making the offerings for students more diverse and offering more variety that rotates is having enough staff to prepare that food. And then in the past, we've had service lines, and again, that requires additional staffing. So I'm going to ask Dr. Rufo if she can maybe elaborate on where we stand right now in our conversations with Aramark, which is our food service contractor, to see where they are with their labor and staffing, and whether that's going to be able to provide us with a little bit more diversity in our lunch offerings.
Thank you. At this point, Aramark is aggressively working on rounding out their staffing. They have reported that they plan to have sufficient staff to return to elementary serving lines in the fall. And I'm meeting with Aramark again later this week to get an update on that. But that's the plan that they're working towards at this time.
So I actually meant in terms of children being in the lunchroom. Are we able to go back to tables, or is there still going to be spacing? Are kids going to still be eating in their classrooms? I meant more in terms of that. Thanks.
Dr. Rufo, please continue.
I believe the plans are still being finalized in terms of scheduling, and those are being communicated to Aramark, but the plan is in most of the schools to return to a cafeteria tables, seating.
Thank you, Dr. Ruffo. Anyone else? Brian, please.
Just one quick question. You mentioned guidance. Is this something we expect to be different than last, June? And also, is this something they could possibly throw at us the day before school starts?
So my understanding is that the State Commissioner of Education a week ago or so said that we should anticipate new guidance in about 2 weeks. So I do anticipate that we'll get something from the state prior to the start of school. Again, I don't have any advanced knowledge of what it might comprise, which is why I decided to quote the governor's public comments about not anticipating the requirement for a mask, for example. And I read into that we shouldn't anticipate a lot of changes, but the guidance that we get from the state we must follow. So obviously we'll pay close attention to it, and the sooner it gets here the better, because the sooner we can make our own plans and communicate with families what to anticipate in the fall. But I don't see in my own tracking of the conditions any significant difference from where we were at the end of the year last year. So I don't know that there's a new resurgence that I can identify, at least, that would occasion a change. So I'm anticipating that at the very least we'll be where we ended last year.
Jack?
Thanks, Tom. So obviously it was nice to receive public assurances from the IDA about payments making us whole. That would obviously be great, but is there a way that maybe the 9 of us up here or folks at home or anyone can do anything to keep the pressure maximized on the IDA to make sure? Is there anything that we can do? Can we draft letters? Should we be calling, emailing? What else can we do to make the best case?
Do you want to talk about the IDA meeting? You can answer it.
So I think it was very encouraging to hear Chairman Kessel say that they wanted to work with the school district in order to make sure that we're kept whole. We had some communications with the IDA prior to their board meeting to alert them to our concerns, to outline for them how we hoped they would approach those concerns. And again, our budget process is such that we make all of our decisions in the spring, and then we put our budget in front of the voters. And once that budget is approved by the voters, it really is in its final form. And so we can't make dramatic changes for a year, and this would have been a dramatic change. So I think what I read into the chairman's comments is that they appreciate the logistical challenge that we have. We are supposed to make contact with them at a staff level and begin that conversation. I would like to see if those conversations are productive immediately before suggesting that we need to amplify. I guess what I'm saying is they've already said what we had hoped they would say on Thursday night, and so if they appear to be wavering from that at some point in the future, we may have to have another conversation again. But right now I'm encouraged by what I heard, and we'll try to make that contact at a staff level.
Any other questions? Any other questions, anyone? Okay. Thank you, Dr. Rogers. Just a couple of things on my end. Mrs. Spiegel, we want to thank you and your team for doing such a great job at summer school. Obviously, school doesn't end in the summer, and the district, and we have a lot of hardworking people here, so we want to recognize them. As far as the IDA, I want to thank the board's support for being out there and really being proactive. I also want to thank Dr. Rogers and Dr. Ruffo and our school attorneys for really paving the way for us to get at least as good as we could have gotten an answer, that they were willing to work with us. But what does that mean? That means that we still don't have anything in writing. We still need to continue to push on this. And I kind of feel like there's still two issues. One is we must be made whole, and I have to give Chairman Kessel, he was very willing and open to working with us, so I appreciate that from him. But then there's also the second part of this down the road is that for the residents in the school district, Nassau County also has to give Amazon a fair market value of their property assessment. So there is two pieces to this, and this is not done, at least for now, until we get a contract, and for sure we're. So there's definitely, Jack, there's definitely more work to do on this. That's all I have. So. So we have no legislative items, and we'll move to audience to the public. I'm just going to give some brief rules here. The Syosset Board of Education and the administration welcome your attendance to the Board of Education meeting. Audience to the public affords residents of our district the opportunity to address the Board of Education's. Residents must please enter their full name and address into the register located at the microphone before they speak. Each resident will have 4 minutes to address the Board of Education. The Board of Education will not permit polling of any particular board members. After every resident wishing to speak has had an opportunity to do so, the Board of Education and/or the administration will do their best to provide responses to the residents' questions or comments. After every resident has had a chance to speak, the chair may recognize the residents who wish to address the Board of Education for a second time after their initial 4-minute turn. No speaker is permitted to address issues concerning any individual student or staff. All in attendance at the Board of Education public meeting, please must conduct themselves in a respectful manner. So anybody who wishes to come and speak, you're welcome to. Please come up. Anyone? Okay. We're going to close audience to the public. There is no discussion items, and there is no unfinished business, so we're going to start with our new business, okay? A1 is the approval of staff changes. May I please have a motion? Susan, Lisa, any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? A2 is the revised appointment for Deputy Superintendent of Schools. Can I please have a motion? Dr. Park? Brian? Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? A3 is the approval of the unaligned staff employment agreements. Can I have Susan, seconded by Lisa. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? A4 is the approval of the 2022-2023 stipend and hourly rates. May I have a motion, please? Susan? Anna? Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? A5 is the revised appointment of certified athletic trainer. May I have a motion, please? Susan? Seconded by Lisa. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, B items. B1 is the approval of the Committee on Special Education recommendations. Can I have a motion, please? Dr. Park? Brian? Any questions? No? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. B2 is the approval of the Committee on Preschool Special Education recommendations. Can I have a motion, please? Susan? Anna? Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. B3 is the authorization to establish a school lunch pricing. Can I have a motion, please? Susan? Seconded by? Lisa? Does anybody have any questions? Yes, Dr. Park.
Can we round it off to 3? I know we're using apps, so it doesn't really matter, but if somebody wants to bring in $3, get change back, does it matter?
I do believe almost everyone uses electronic means of paying for lunch. And I would just say parenthetically that over the course of the last 2 years, we've seen a lot of price escalation, and that hasn't needed to be reflected because the federal government has paid for free lunch for all students. And we were told that that was going to expire at the end of the last school year, and then literally at the last second, just before summer school started, the federal government renewed that program, and there is certainly the possibility that they could renew it again at the last minute for the fall. So we'll keep an eye on that. But if they don't renew it, we really do have to absorb the last couple of years of cost escalations. And this is a tricky business because by law we're not allowed to run a profit. Also by law we're not allowed to run a deficit. So when we talk about rounding up, we're trying to land a 747 on an aircraft carrier in the seas in a storm at night. That's what we're trying to do.
Anyone else? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, we're going to move to C items. Is the authorization, C1, is the authorization for service contracts. May I have a motion, please? Dr. Park? Carol? Any questions? Yes, Susan. No, don't be sorry. Okay, no questions. You have a question. Go ahead.
Question. I have a comment, and I wanted to thank the administration. I saw that there are some vendors that dealing with coding and STEM, and that's one area that I really can't help my children with, and I'm sure many of the parents feel that way too. I thought Common Core Math was bad, but this is out of my league, and I'm so thankful that the school is taking lead and really taking a full front in educating our children for the future that's very different than the future that we were preparing for. So thank you. It was a very proud moment for me as I was reading that part.
Well, I will just say thank you. We appreciate the compliments, and this is part of our strategy to start teaching coding as early as possible because we see it now as a foundational literacy. But one of the other observations that we've made is that we want to see gender equity in our coding, and by starting kids very young before any of the gender stereotyping really sets in, we find that we put all kids on an equal footing. So we're trying to accomplish a couple of things there, and we really appreciate you noticing.
Dr. Park, thank you. And by the way, if anybody has comments, it doesn't have to be a question. Please feel free to chime in. Yeah. I was actually going to... Yes, Jack, go ahead.
Do we have a number estimate for the UPK program for this upcoming year?
Yes, we've been going through that, finalizing that right now. I don't have the exact number off the top of my head. We had just under 200 slots made available to us by the state. We did have a wait list. We've been going through the wait list as slots have opened up. Dr. Curry, do you have the latest numbers on where we're at exactly with pre-K?
Currently, our allocation allows for us to fill 197 spots. At this point, all 197 spots are filled.
And do you have any people remaining on the wait list at this point?
Yes, currently we have approximately 7 families that are on the wait list. In meeting with our pre-K providers, they have also indicated they have families that are in the process of completing the registration. There are some families indicating that they may not, in fact, take the spots after all. So our hope is to be able to accommodate everyone who is interested. And we also have an opportunity here at Syosset High School for a limited program through our Child Studies program that we've also made available to the individuals on the wait list while they're waiting for a spot in one of the 4 providers.
Dr. Curry, that one that we do at the high school, is that for 3 hours? How long is that for?
Yes, it is a shorter program. It runs concurrent with the course at the high school, and it is offered 3 days a week. I believe it is from 9:30 to 11:30, but I would have to specifically confirm that time frame.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, any more questions? Nope. All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, C2 is the authorization for special education and nursing contracts. I'm sorry. Do I have a motion? Susan, Lisa, all in favor? I'm sorry. Any questions? Hold on, getting ahead of myself here. Any questions? Nope. All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Sorry. C3 is the authorization for contracts for federal Part B funds. May I have a motion, please? Dr. Park, Carol? Does anybody have any questions? No. All in favor? Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. C4 is the approval of the settlement agreement. Can I have a motion, please? Susan? Lisa? Does anybody have any questions? No. All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, great. C5 and C6 can be taken together. They are the authorization for change orders. May I have a motion, please? Susan, seconded by Anna. Does anybody have any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. C7 through C9 can be taken together. They are the authorization for the cooperative contract through the Omni Partners, the County of Onondaga, and Riverhead Central School District. Can I please have a motion? Dr. Park, Brian, does anybody have any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. C10 is the award of the Nassau County Director of School Facilities Purchasing Consortium cooperative bid. May I have a motion, please? Lisa, seconded by Susan. Does anybody have any questions? No. All in favor? Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Okay. C11 is the authorization for the contract with the Nassau BOCES for services for the 2022-2023 school year and final authorization for the 2021-2022 school year. Can I have a motion, please? Susan, seconded by Anna. Does anybody have any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. C12 is the approval of student club. Can I have a motion, please? Dr. Park, seconded by Brian. Does anybody have any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, C13 is the authorization for the disposal of broken, surplus, and/or obsolete equipment and/or books. Can I have a motion, please? Susan, seconded by Someone? Lisa? Does anybody have any questions? Brian, please.
Dr. Rogers, I know it's difficult to give books away that are, I guess, obsolete or damaged or broken, to the extent they could be broken. But I was wondering if we are able to give some of our books away to nonprofits so they don't end up in a dumpster.
It is possible. You have a board policy, policy 6900, that allows you to give away materials to nonprofits. What's typically done, librarians go through a process we call weeding, but they're making room for new titles to come into the collections, and generally they're looking for titles that haven't been checked out by students in a number of years, or books that are in poor repair, broken spines or things like that. So they may not be worthy for donation, but there may be some that are. We do, with some of the disposal surplus equipment, have an auction service, and we sometimes will auction things off. That's always our first choice, is to auction it off so that we get some value for the money. And the auction service will only take those things that they think they can make a profit off of as well. So there may be things that we're willing to auction, but they're unwilling to auction for us because they don't see any profit in it. We do have the ability to make those as gifts. I won't say that it happens frequently, but it is possible. And the reason for all of these mechanisms is because we are trying to avoid the constitutional prohibition on gifts of public funds. And so that's why we go through these processes to make sure that we're doing everything by the, I was going to say by the book, but that's too bad a pun even for me.
Any other questions? Nope. All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Done. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.